Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and this video is going to be a look through everything I got out of the video shop in the year 1986. Now, you might think to yourself, how on earth do I remember? Well, I don't remember. I've got a bit of paper here which I copied out of a diary. The only diary I've ever kept in my life, well, fully for the year. Also, I was looking at my cupboard next door, looking at some old VHS tapes, and I found a load of ones that used to record over, and I got them over there, and I put them out because I thought it'd be nice to look through sort of all the makes that everybody remembers, but there's a few makes over there that are really weird, and I thought, and probably very cheap. So I thought I'd show them at the end of the video. I've tried to get all the covers I remember from the actual video shops, and I'm going to put them up on the screen so you can get a bit of a flavour of what I was looking at when I was looking through the video shelves. Don't forget, the video nasty era had begun in earnest here, so there's no way you were going to go and see the really good titles, but there was some classics in there. Like I say, when I put them up, I'll put them up on the screen and you can get an idea of what you were going to look at when you were going through the shelves in the video shop. So first of all, I got out The Final Terror. On the same day, I got out The Deadly Spawn. Now, the reason I got this was because the cover on The Final Terror was absolutely brilliant. The film, I'm going to sort of guess at some of these movies when I can't really remember them because I've only watched them at that time and not watched them again. I don't own that one. I own The Deadly Spawn, which is a great movie. The Final Terror was all right, but it was cut. You could tell it was cut, and you can't get it now uncut. And I may go back to that and look at it sometime because in essence, it was a good movie, but it just didn't have enough gore for me. And at the time, I was just after gore. And if you could tell a movie being cut as well, then you just didn't go near it. The Deadly Spawn, on the other hand, is a really good movie, and that was one of the ones that had this like amazing cover and made you want to go and actually, see it. And I was so glad I did because it was a movie that you can get out a lot because it was like it wasn't a band video nasty, but it was around about that time. Quite gory as well, really low budget, but a brilliant movie nevertheless. Next, I rented Dead and Buried. Now, Dead and Buried is a movie that's a brilliant movie. You haven't seen it, you've got to see this movie. It's got such a unique premise to it. Now, as well, I've got it on 4K now. Can you believe it? But this is great to see these movies that you remember and love back in the day to be coming out in this fashion. So it's great to know that these things are still live in them. Some of these movies I'm going to talk about here haven't seen the light of day since probably this VHS time, which is a bit of a shame. But the best thing about some of them, like Dead and Buried, is the fact that they're still alive and kicking, and they're coming back in a really amazing 4K forms. Next, I got out one of my favourite movies of all time, The Elephant Man, and I watched it twice. I wrote down that I watched it twice, and yeah, that's the thing. We used to get them out of the video shop. We used to get them out to probably watch them 2 or 3 times. Sometimes you'd watch them through the night, so the next morning because you knew how to take it back, so you get as much viewing pleasure as you could because this was this was something brand new. It was the brand new thing of the time, of the fact you could put that movie on at your leisure and watch it with anyone you cared to bring into your sort of inner sanctum and say, right, we're going to watch this, or you show it your parents, your family. I remember I did show me gran and me mum The Elephant Man, and well, they were in bits, and I was trying to fight back the tears and saying it's not the matter, but inside I was kind of churned up. So that's The Elephant Man. Next, I got out mainly because of the cover. Q, the Winged Serpent. This was a great movie, actually. It was one of those ones that surprises you because it's got this. It's actually stop animation, and at that time, nobody cared less about stop animation because it wasn't new, but it was something that everybody embraced. So when practical effects became the norm, that's when stop motion was a bit frowned upon. Who remembers in Evil Dead 2 that some of that was stop motion? And I think at the time we were thinking because of the amazing practical effects, we were thinking, no, that's not that good. But on reflection, I think stop motion is still a great effect to have. And Cue the Winged Serpent about this beast that's flying around New York is an absolutely brilliant premise. Next, it said on my diary, on the 7th of February 1986, I bought Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark live at the Drury Lane Theatre Royal. Now, I played this incessantly. I was a huge fan of, well, I still am, of OMD. And you can see in here the actual receipt for it. Newcastle, the 7th of February 1986, 14.95 for this VHS big box clamshell. It's in good condition, although I think there is It's a little bit of mold starting on that disc, unfortunately, on the disc, on the tape. Got to get used to seeing tape in this video. But this is a real throwback to, I used to look for stuff like this because I'd just seen OMD, I think, live in the City Hall. So getting this to watch and relive it was amazing. Next, I rented Christine. Now, I've said many times about this movie that I've tried and tried and tried, and I just cannot get away with it. I got it out the video shop. I've watched it on TV. I've had it on DVD. I've had it on Blu-ray. Actually, the Blu-ray looked absolutely brilliant. But I just tried and tried, and I just cannot get away with that movie. It's well shot. I like certain aspects of it. I like the way the car sort of is mangled and it comes back to life. But just the main character of it really gets on my nerves. So unfortunately, although I've tried and tried, I cannot get away with Christine. Next is an absolute classic, even though it's heavily, heavily cut. Death Wish 2. This is my favourite of the Death Wish movies. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And the uncut one is absolutely brutal. I can understand why it was cut, although, at those days it was just cut anything. And it's a bit of a shame that it ever got to be heavily cut, but it was. I couldn't really tell actually when I was a young kid and I was watching it. I just thought it was amazing, but I couldn't really tell how much had been cut out of it because it might have been done well, the cuts, the edits. But it's an absolute classic. And it was one of those ones, so it was still a lot, there's still a lot of violence in it. It was left, you went for ones that were the most violent ones you could, even though most of them had been cut, unfortunately. Now, obviously, when you're at the video shop, you'd be drawn to covers. And sometimes a cover would be on the shelf and you'd be looking at it and you kept going back to it. You do this now when you go and look in the HMV. You see a cover that kind of gets your attention and eventually you end up picking it up. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Now, I got this one, Time Walker, and I can't remember anything about it at all. I just remember thinking that cover looks really good. It could have been good, it could have been bad. I've got no knowledge of it whatsoever, but I just remember that it was the cover that got me to watch this movie. Next, I got out one of my favourite comedies of all time, Time Bandits. Now, I've got this on Blu-ray. There's a 4K out now. I think I'll probably get the 4K because I love this movie. I love Monty Python in general. I just think it's great. I know it's not a Monty Python movie, but it might as well be. It's more or less got the whole cast in it. And John Cleese in that is just amazing. So yes, Time Bandits was one of my favourites, and you'll see that I don't know if I rented it out quite a few times, but I know I used to watch this on a loop back in the day. Next and lastly for this video, which will take me to June the 19th, 1986, because if I go through all of these ones, it'll take far too long. The video will be massive. And the one I got is my favourite of this franchise, and it is Rocky 3. Love this movie, love the cover, love everything about it. It's just amazing. It kind of encapsulates for me the Rocky scenario. I know he's got the bits when he's coming up to be this champ, but I like this part of the Rocky saga more than any of the other parts. I mean, it's a good franchise all the way through. Mainly Rocky 5, not so much. I like to see a director's cut of that one, see if it can sort that out. But Rocky 3 for me, and that cover's amazing. If you think I could own some pre-cert covers, Rocky 3 will be up there with a bullet. So that's it, you can't touch that one for me. And obviously that cover is just absolutely iconic. So I'll end this video on these videotapes here. See if this brings back some memories for you. So first I've got Scotch. Now this to me was my favourite one. I think this had obviously a 4-hour one. I didn't bother with the 180s if I could. I would always ask for these ones. You're getting packs of 5s. I think it cost about £10 or £15. Now I have taped some stuff on here, and to be honest, most of them, because they're not stored in the top of my cupboard, they look pretty good. Remember these things when you used to stick them on? Used to tell you how much time you had back left on your. Obviously, you've got your standard play, your short play, as you call it, and your long play, so you could tell how much you've got left. Kind of, and you could go accordingly on what you're gonna copy off the TV. Now, if you look on there, I've got B2 there. What I used to do is I used to go A1 to 10. I used to have a book, A1 to 10. I've got that book, and I'll tell you exactly what I had on these things. I'll go through that one day. And this is B2. So you'll see on some of them, I'll get all the way through to Z10, which was the last one. Then I've done AA 1 to 10, and then one way through that. Now, I don't think I got the triples, but I think I might have got the early triples of it. So that shows you how many of these I had back in the day. But I haven't got, I've got quite a lot of them left. I've got a lot of things, music tape on them, music that you probably can't get anywhere else, if I'm honest. Tape off some really weird stuff taped off the TV. Obviously, I'm a big fan of boxing, and I've got a load of boxing matches taped off there. sometimes it makes me want to think, do I want to put them onto YouTube and share them? Because I don't think some of these boxing matches are even available on there. Got some belting British matches. Anyway, so this one has got Elvis 68 Comeback Special, Airplane 2, Billy Connolly in person, and the end of Police Academy. Well, I must have run out of tape one. So that's Scotch. Everybody knows Scotch. Another one that was one of my favourites is JVC. This is the SX tape, which they put these things on. They said, "Oh, this you pay a bit more, and it's going to be like super duper quality." So this has got my home movies from when my son was born. Matthew John Perry. This is from the 7th of the 6th, 97 to the 27th of the 6th, 97. Now, I started copying some way back when I started copying these on DVDs. I would love to get some of these home movies and show you a bit of them because some of them are just ridiculous. And I have got hair on these home movies. But yeah, so good condition, thank God, because this is the only way I've got them now. So I want to make sure I can get these on the disc before they kind of perish. JVC, everybody knows JVC. Who remembers AGFA? Now, Agfa are one of those ones that was like a big name because they used to do a lot of stuff to do with recording instrument, like things, and also stereos and things like that. Now, on here, I've got Comic Strip Presents, Strike, More Bad News, and Mr. Jolly Lives Next Door. That was brilliant. I've got them on a DVD somewhere down there, I think. Is that them? I think that's them. Yes, that's them over there. 180. So that was a bit of a smaller one, but these are the better quality ones. When I got these ones, you knew they were going to kind of live up to the last. I mean, they've lasted all this time, but some of the ones coming up, you had to place a bit. You thought there's no way I'm going to get this. I didn't like to get a lot of them. They were just got probably because I had no money at the time and I wanted some blanks. So that's Agfa. Next up is Phillips. I think this is a one that's now sometimes I haven't got the stuff in there. This is a thing I got through the door when I went over it. So I think it's only about 10 minutes of tape on it. But what I've got on here, believe it or not, has got me playing golf on a field. And Deborah always thinks that I'm going to hit the golf ball at her face, which I wasn't going to do that, but she's going, stop it. So anyway, so the things you do when you're a kid. So this was sometimes you haven't got the actual tape with it, and you've got the box and the tape breaks, so you put another thing in it. But yeah, Phillips, that was quite. I mean, everyone says high grade and all that, but were they? Next is Maxell. Now this I've taped Bruce Lee, the legend, and Bruce Lee biography, which was on the TV. Now, do you remember this? This is the sticker you used to get in it, and this is you can put all your details on it. Now, what's got in here, which is mad, I think, you've got your E30. I think this is even smaller than E30. I think that's an E10 or something. An E60, which what's the use of that? E120, which I don't even think that I've ever come across. E180, which is great. E240. Then you had an E195, and I'm thinking not too keen, don't think I ever saw one of them. Don't forget you could get double this when you had your long play, and you get an E300. Now, I've never ever seen one of them, but I would imagine if you got an E300, you put it in, the tape would smash immediately or snap, because these are things that sometimes when you put these things in, and there was a cassette tape, you get the E120 cassette tape, and they used to snap all the time. They were just useless, really. But Maxell, that was a good quality one. Next one, getting in the sort of lower. Actually, I'll put that. No, what about this one? Sony. There's hardly anything on a Sony tape. This had Lauren Hardy on a tape. Bohunks, Air Raid Wardens, and A Haunting We Will Go. That's I must have took that bit out there. Well, these are this was a good quality one. I didn't have many of them. I think they were probably a bit too much. I mean, look at that one there. Double M9. Yeah, that's getting into the lower things. That must have been way in my collection. The book was colossal, for this. Now getting into it, this one's still good quality in here, I would say. Kodak. Now, this one's from my good friend, John Hall. He'd tape for me. Spider-Man, 8 complete episodes. That's a TV series. This is gold. It's in long play, so the quality will be a bit, it does drop when you did that. But He'd copied these for, well, actually for Matthew to watch. So when Matthew used to watch them, he used to love them. That was the only way you could really see Spider-Man. And when Spider-Man came in, like it was with Sam Raimi, it was such a revelation. But this is a high quality one, and it's such a good pack. You don't used to see many of these around, actually, Kodak, if I'm honest. Next up, getting towards the lower quality is Bush. Bush is yeah, Matthew's music video. He used to put this on. He used to tape things off the music like channels when he used to watch them when he was a kid. And he used to love them, especially Trans-Europe Express by Kraftwerk. As soon as it come on with the train noise, he used to be glued to it. Yep. So that's Bush. But I would say the other ones, when you used to go and look for your blanks, you would kind of look at these and you would think, well, I'll get that if I have to. But you would go looking for your Scotch or your JVC. If anyone bought you any for Christmas, you'd say, can you get a Scotch or JVC? But sometimes they come back with this and you say, oh, thank you. But you were thinking, not exactly the best quality. So that's Bush. Another one, low quality, I would say, is Fuji. Although it comes, I mean, it might not be, but it actually comes across to me like it's. I know that these ones were ones that I didn't actively seek out, and some of them I'm thinking they must have been the lowest one of the low there. So this has got Pee Wee's, Pee Wee's Big Adventure and Slam Dunk Ernest. The Ernest films are so funny. Mr. Bean, the movie, actually, it's got Mr. Bean written on there, and Slam Dunk Ernest. Maybe I tape over that. I don't know. The Ernest films are amazing. Matthew used to love them. Can't really get them actually in the UK, which is a bit of a shame. So that's Fuji. Next is Toshiko. Anybody remember them? I don't really think that I used to have much to do with these. In fact, I think in me collection, I'm saying collection of ones I've got left, I don't think there's many of them. Although the tape does feel really heavy for some reason. I've got The Adventures of Ford Fairlane on there. Has anyone seen that? What a movie that is with Andrew Dice Clay, the most un-PC American comic you'll ever meet. And Blade Runner. Ever heard of that one? So yeah, so amazing. And yeah, I would say that's definitely lower quality to me. It's not double Y10. That's right in the bottom of the list, isn't it? Next is what about this for a video cassette tape? Sky. So Sky used to do them. I think everybody used to do these. Lifetime guarantee. I'm just going to actually imagine phoning Sky up today and got a bit damp in there and just saying, excuse me, I've got this tape that I bought off you like in about 1986. Can I have your money back, please? And I can have a replacement. Yeah, how do you think that one will go? This has got Knight Rider on it. We taped Knight Rider off the TV for Matthew. Well, I used to watch it as well. So funny. And we used to watch, it had all the episodes on there as far as I remember. So I had loads of tapes. So this is a Knight Rider tape. All the other ones are in there. But Sky, yeah, that's a funny one, isn't it? Now this is getting towards the real bargain basement ones. Has anyone ever heard of this one? Nico. I had a few of these actually when I've looked through them. Don't know what's on this one. That's another thing. You've got these tapes that sometimes I haven't been on. So you've popped them in. You think, my God, I can't believe that that's a thing I've got. Or you're thinking, what on earth did I tape that for? But yeah, Nico. I don't know, a Nico. It's a funny one that it does say UK made actually, even though it doesn't sound like a UK name. Yeah, so funny one that. Has anyone ever heard of this one? Because it's not one that kind of springs to mind when you talk about videotapes. Nico. And lastly is probably the one I'm going to say is the lowest quality out of the lot. And that I remember getting these and thinking, my God, these are so low quality. You could just tell a mile off. Vista. Even the name doesn't sound too good, does it? This has got, wait for this, Spike Milligan, Lauren Hardy, Way Out West, and Perfect Day, which is a Lauren Hardy movie, and Secret Policeman's Biggest Ball. Didn't know there was one called that. And Spike Milligan is called There's a Lot of It About. So there's a lot of stuff on there. Maybe that was in long play. Now, if you had a player and you put this is funny, isn't it? You had a player and you had a long play tape, and somebody says, "Oh, I've taped, 3 football matches. Do you want to watch them?" Oh, no problem. You put it on your player, and it wasn't a long play. He would play the tape as if it was like fast forward, and it was like Pinky and Perky speaking on it, was playing it fast because it couldn't adapt to playing in long play. It wouldn't see that was a long play tape because it would only play in short play or standard play. So yeah, so do you remember that? So anyway, Sorry, this video has probably went on a bit too long, but I've got plenty of things to talk about in this, like the next part of what I've got out the video shop. I've also, if I get the time, because I don't think I've got the time in here, although I'm rambling now, I didn't get a chance to talk about the couple of stories I've got in there. They're quite funny actually, about an all-night cinema show that we went to, me and Wolfie Warploy, and also when on my last day in the Spanish city, what happens to you on the last day of the Spanish city, what the Spanish city lads do to you. That's to come. Wow. So there you go. So anyway, so thanks for watching this. I know it's been a bit long and is but hopefully I like these nostalgic videos. In fact, I might get a separate playlist to put them together and just talk about these nostalgic trips down memory lane. And I think they connect with quite a few people, which is great. So thanks for watching. You take care, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.